You think you can judge me? Order in the court. You are in contempt.
A millionaire real estate mogul strides into Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom, every inch of her $5,000 designer ensemble screaming wealth and power. Within moments, she utters words so audacious, so shockingly dismissive, that even the most seasoned court officers freeze in disbelief. What follows isn't just another traffic citation, it's a masterclass in how privilege meets accountability and why certain insults demand an unflinching response. Before we uncover the consequences of Victoria Ashford's arrogance, consider this: money cannot shield you from the law, and disrespect in this room is non-negotiable. It's Tuesday morning, 9:30 a.m. at Providence Municipal Court. The bailiff leans toward Judge Caprio. "Your Honor, this defendant has been difficult with court staff, dismissive, condescending. She demanded we reschedule because of a conference call." Caprio nods calmly, aware that patience will be required today. The citation reads, Victoria Ashford, 52, cited for running a red light under aggravating circumstances. Pedestrian nearly struck. The officer's notes mention her refusal to provide a license, stating her lawyer handles these matters. Victoria enters like she owns the stage, every step a calculated display of superiority. Her Valentino suit hugs her like it was molded to power itself. Diamond earrings glinting under the fluorescent lights, her Air Hermes handbag dangling from her wrist like a trophy of excess. But it's not the luxury that dominates the room. It's her attitude. She doesn't meet anyone's eyes, thumbs flying across her phone, sighing as though this entire legal process is beneath her. Judge Caprio looks up with characteristic warmth. "Miss Ashford, good morning. Please approach the bench." Victoria walks slowly, still absorbed in her device, ignoring his greeting. The courtroom, full of people waiting for their own cases, immediately senses tension. An elderly woman leans to whisper concern. The judge tries again, firmer but gentle. "I need your full attention. Please put your phone away." Victoria glances up reluctantly, expression as if she's granting a favor. "It's Miss Ashford, not Mrs. I didn't marry for a name, Your Honor. I built my own empire." The edge in her voice cuts like a blade. She's corrected him as if marriage were an insult to her accomplishments. With painstaking slowness, she slides her phone into her bag, demonstrating compliance on her own terms. Caprio remains composed. "Miss Ashford, you're here regarding a traffic citation for running a red light on Benefit Street. How do you plead?" She shifts her weight, hand on her hip. "Look, I'm managing a $12 million commercial deal. Can we expedite this? I have actual important matters waiting." Her use of actual lands like a slap. In open court, she just dismissed the importance of this courtroom. Gasps ripple through the gallery. A man in a work uniform crosses his arms, jaw tightening. Judge Caprio maintains professional composure, but the air shifts. "Miss Ashford, these proceedings are important. They concern public safety and the rule of law." Victoria scoffs audibly. "A red light? Your Honor, do you know how many jobs I create, how much tax revenue my company generates? I employ over 300 people. My developments have revitalized neighborhoods. This citation is beneath me." She delivers this with complete certainty. In her world, success equals exemption. The courtroom seems to shrink. The air thickens. Caprio picks up the file, reviewing carefully while Victoria checks her watch, every motion noted by the gallery. "Miss Ashford, the law applies to everyone equally. Your business success changes nothing." She meets his gaze for the first time, cold and measured. "With respect, Your Honor, in the real world, everything has a price. I've paid dozens of tickets. Just tell me the fine. My assistant will handle it." She reduces justice to a transaction, the courtroom to a payment window, and Caprio to a cashier, oblivious to the storm she set in motion. Caprio sets the file down deliberately. "Miss Ashford, Before discussing fines, let's review the violation. You ran a red light on Benefit Street at Hope at 3:15 p.m. Does that sound correct? Victoria waves her hand dismissively. If that's what the ticket says, fine. I don't remember every intersection. I have more important things on my mind than traffic signals. The judge remains calm. Officer Ramirez reports that you initially refused to provide your license. Victoria arches perfectly shaped eyebrows. I asked why I was being stopped. Isn't that my constitutional right? Or does that not apply to people who actually contribute to society? Her jab lands subtly, but unmistakably. A few gallery members shift uncomfortably. Caprio responds evenly. You absolutely have the right to ask. But according to Officer Ramirez, you said you don't carry your license because your lawyer handles all traffic matters, and his time is being wasted on someone of your stature. Victoria does not deny it. I may have said something to that effect. I was late for a meeting scheduled for weeks. The officer seemed more interested in asserting authority than public safety. The prosecutor rises, young and determined, handing Caprio a stack of folders. Your Honor, Miss Ashford's record shows 6 prior violations in 3 years, all paid, but she never appeared in court. This violation has aggravating circumstances not initially apparent. Caprio examines the documents, expression growing serious. Miss Ashford, these include 2 speeding tickets, 3 red light violations, and 1 reckless driving citation, a significant pattern. Victoria's voice rises. A pattern of what? Living my life? Driving to appointments? Every ticket was paid immediately. That's how the system works. Tickets issued, tickets paid, everyone happy, transaction complete. No, Miss Ashford, that's not how the system works. Each violation represents moments you endangered yourself and others. These are warnings you've ignored. She laughs, short, bitter, incredulous. Warnings, Your Honor, I've driven 35 years, never caused an accident. These tickets are revenue generation. We both know it. The prosecutor adds, traffic camera footage shows you ran the red light in a school zone at 3:15 p.m. during dismissal. An elderly man had to jump back onto the curb to avoid being struck. The courtroom erupts in whispers. Caprio raises a hand. Miss Ashford, you ran a red light in a school zone during dismissal. Do you understand the seriousness? Victoria crosses her arms. What could have happened didn't happen. I had complete control. People don't pay attention. Why should I be penalized for their carelessness? Caprio leans forward, icy calm. You ran the red light. You broke the law. The pedestrian did nothing wrong. Victoria snaps, sharp and patronizing. Let me be frank. This is a waste of time. Mine, yours, everyone's. I run a $40 million company. My decisions affect hundreds of employees. I contribute more to this city than most in this courtroom will in their lifetimes. So yes, I ran the red light. Yes, I'll pay. Can we move on so I can return to actual important work? Silence falls. Even the court reporter freezes. Victoria has just told an entire courtroom that their time, safety, and presence are beneath hers. She locks eyes with Caprio, and what comes next will change everything. With all due respect, Your Honor, genuinely, I don't need a lecture from someone who's never built anything. I create opportunities, develop properties, generate wealth and employment. What do you do? Sit here day after day stamping papers and collecting a paycheck. You've probably never signed the front of a check in your life, only the back. The courtroom reacts not with noise, but with shocked silence. The bailiff instinctively steps forward, catching himself. The court reporter's jaw drops, gasps and mutters ripple across the gallery. Victoria Ashford has just told an entire courtroom that their time, safety, and presence are beneath hers. She locks eyes with Caprio, and what comes next will change everything. Caprio's warmth vanishes instantly. Eyes hard, jaw set, hands gripping the bench. When he speaks, his quiet voice fills the room with absolute authority. Miss Ashford, each word is measured. Did you just tell this court that my service to the law is meaningless? Victoria doesn't flinch. Your Honor, we operate in different worlds. In my world, results matter. Productivity matters. I can't spend my morning in court over a 5-minute issue. This isn't personal, it's reality. Caprio stands. A gesture everyone knows signals something serious. The gallery falls silent. Even Victoria senses the air change. Miss Ashford, he says, voice wrapped in ice, you've just demonstrated the most profound disrespect I've witnessed in 38 years on this bench. Before she can reply, a voice rises from the gallery. Your Honor, may I speak? An elderly man in a veteran's cap stands, dignity radiating from every motion. Caprio nods. Please, state your name. Robert Chin, Your Honor, United States Army, Korea. I've lived in Providence 52 years. I must say something. His voice trembles with controlled fury. I've watched this woman insult you, and I cannot remain silent. Your Honor, I've appeared here 3 times over the years. Parking violations, nothing serious. Each time, you treated me with respect. You listened. You were fair. You ensured people like me weren't crushed by a system we barely understand. Ma'am, you have no idea. Judge Caprio has helped more people than your company ever will. Your money doesn't make you better than him. The gallery erupts in emphatic applause, some standing, shouting, gasping. Victoria's confidence wavers. Victoria's posture stiffens, her arms fold, but the confidence she wielded like armor begins to crack under the weight of the courtroom's collective judgment. She glares, but the spark of defiance flickers. Robert Chin's words hang in the air like a spotlight, illuminating the arrogance she thought untouchable. The room is alive with tension, every eye fixed on the unfolding drama. Judge Caprio's gaze sharpens. Ms. Ashford, you have spoken at length about your contributions, your wealth, and the importance of your work. Let me remind you, none of that exempts you from the law. Each citizen, regardless of net worth or status, is accountable here. Do you understand that? Victoria swallows, her pride battling with the undeniable authority in his voice. Yes, Your Honor, I understand. The words sound almost rehearsed, but there's a hint of recognition that the scales of justice are tipping. Caprio continues, voice steady but commanding. This violation, running a red light in a school zone during dismissal time, could have caused catastrophic consequences. The pedestrian had the right of way. You endangered life. These are not abstract numbers or transactions. These are human beings. Victoria's lips press into a thin line. Her mind races. She can calculate profits, developments, employee salaries, tax revenues, but the human cost she just narrowly skirted cannot be quantified. She realizes for the first time that in this room, her influence, her money, her empire are powerless against the law's impartial gaze. The prosecutor adds firmly, Your Honor, the evidence shows a repeated pattern of traffic violations escalating in severity. This isn't negligence. It's recklessness, compounded by privilege. The defendant has ignored previous warnings, treating the legal system as if it were a negotiable contract. The courtroom is silent. Even the murmurs of observers fade into the weight of the moment. Victoria shifts uneasily, glancing at the gallery, seeing real people, real reactions, the mother clutching a toddler, the elderly man, the veterans, all witnesses to her disregard. Judge Caprio takes a deep breath, the calm intensity in his expression settling like a mantle over the proceedings. Miss Ashford, your actions today and your attitude reflect a profound misunderstanding of responsibility. Wealth does not elevate you above the law. Character, respect, and accountability define a person's true worth, not the size of their bank account. Victoria's throat tightens. Her mind races. She can calculate profits, developments, employee salaries, tax revenues, but the human cost she just narrowly skirted cannot be quantified. She realizes for the first time that in this room, her influence, her money, her empire are powerless against the law's impartial gaze. Judge Caprio takes a deep breath, the calm intensity in his expression settling like a mantle over the proceedings. Miss Ashford, your actions today and your attitude reflect a profound misunderstanding of responsibility. Wealth does not elevate you above the law. Character, respect, and accountability define a person's true worth, not the size of their bank account. Victoria's throat tightens. She nods minutely, the bravado she clung to moments ago faltering. Caprio's voice softens slightly, still firm. You will pay the fine for this violation. But let this moment serve as a lesson beyond the monetary cost, a lesson that no amount of success, money, or influence can erase the importance of respect, decency, and the safety of others. A murmur of approval ripples through the gallery. People lean forward, watching as the lesson sinks in. The room has shifted. The arrogance that once dominated the space is replaced with a palpable acknowledgement of consequence. Victoria finally exhales, a subtle concession. Yes, Your Honor, I understand. I'll pay the fine. The words are measured, stripped of the earlier condescension. The courtroom watches, the empire builder humbled, at least for a moment, by the immovable authority of justice and the human cost of her recklessness. Judge Caprio nods once, decisively. That is all. Court is adjourned. The gavel strikes. Silence is punctuated only by the collective intake of breath from the gallery. Victoria stands, still polished, still powerful, but forever marked by the reminder that privilege is no shield in this room. The echoes of Robert Chin's voice, the whispers, and the stunned looks of onlookers follow her as she departs. The courtroom empties slowly. Conversations ripple with reflections on fairness, accountability, and the rare, raw display of character confronted by wealth and entitlement. The lesson is clear. In Judge Caprio's court, no amount of money can outshine respect for the law. No amount of arrogance can escape the judgment of fairness. And no empire is safe from the consequences of thoughtless disregard. Victoria uncrosses her arms and glances toward the door, calculating whether she can simply walk away. The courtroom watches her every move, tense and silent. Judge Caprio's voice cuts through the charged air. Miss Ashford, I am giving you one opportunity to retract your statement and apologize to this court. Pride and fear wrestle inside her. Her mouth opens, closes, and opens again, finally letting out her second catastrophic mistake. Why should I apologize for speaking the truth? You want respect? Respect is earned, Your Honor. Sitting in judgment of people who actually do things doesn't earn it. How much do you make? 80,000? 90? I spend that on a weekend vacation. We are not the same. The courtroom erupts in reaction. But this time, Judge Caprio allows the disapproval to wash over Victoria. He lets her hear exactly what the community thinks of her arrogance. When he finally raises his hand for silence, his expression is no longer anger. It has hardened into a cold, precise determination. Miss Ashford, he says quietly, you have made a choice that will define the rest of this hearing. I am now going to review your case with the thoroughness it deserves. Bailiff, please ensure she remains in this courtroom. We will examine exactly who Victoria Ashford is and what she truly represents. The judge sits back, methodically pulling documents from the file. For the first time, Victoria realizes that her wealth may not be enough to save her. Judge Caprio opens the expanded file from the prosecutor, glasses perched on his nose, studying every page with deliberate care. Miss Ashford, let's discuss this violation thoroughly, shall we? The traffic camera footage is displayed. A silver Mercedes speeds through a red light at 3:15 p.m., right in front of Vartan Gregorian Elementary School. Children with bobbing backpacks wait on the sidewalk. A crossing guard in bright yellow stands at the crosswalk, stop sign raised. The car barrels through without slowing. An elderly man jerks backward, nearly falling. The crossing guard lunges, steadying him, while pulling two children back from the street, one her daughter, the other her nephew with cerebral palsy. Judge Caprio's voice is firm. Miss Ashford, that crossing guard is Rebecca Martinez, serving there for 12 years. The elderly man is 76-year-old Thomas Wu, a retired postal worker. Those children behind him were nearly struck because of your recklessness. If Mrs. Martinez hadn't reacted in that split second, we might be having a very different conversation today. Victoria pales but struggles to speak. Your Honor, I couldn't see them clearly. The sun was in my eyes. It was a split-second decision. Caprio rewinds and plays the footage in slow motion. The light had been red for 3 full seconds before you entered the intersection. The crossing guard and children were clearly visible. According to the camera, you were traveling 52 miles per hour in a 25-mile-per-hour school zone. The prosecutor arises. Your Honor, Mrs. Martinez is here to testify. She steps forward, composed and dignified, sworn in, hands folded. Your Honor, I've been a crossing guard for 12 years. That day, Mr. Wu was crossing, clearly visible. The light had been red. I saw the Mercedes coming and realized it wasn't stopping. Mr. Wu couldn't move quickly due to arthritis. My daughter and my nephew, who has CP, were behind him. If I hadn't pulled them back, the results could have been tragic. Inches, Your Honor, inches. Her voice breaks. The courtroom is silent. Judge Caprio nods to her. Thank you, Mrs. Martinez. Your testimony is noted. He turns to Victoria. Do you have anything to say?
Victoria's voice is tight. I'm sorry she was frightened, but nothing actually happened. Everyone is fine. We're talking about what could have happened, not what did happen. I ran a red light. That's the violation. Everything else is speculation. Caprio's expression darkens. Miss Ashford, Mrs. Martinez's testimony establishes the severity of your violation. But let's examine your claim of contributing to the community. The prosecutor brings another folder. Your Honor, public records regarding Miss Ashford's company, Ashford Properties, show 7 active lawsuits, 3 from former employees alleging wage theft and unsafe conditions, 4 from tenants citing uninhabitable apartments with lack of heat, water damage, and pests. Victoria tries to defend herself. Those are frivolous lawsuits. My lawyers are handling them. This has nothing to do with a traffic violation. Judge Caprio closes the folder deliberately. Miss Ashford, you claim to contribute to society and create opportunities. These documents tell a different story of someone exploiting employees and tenants, believing wealth grants immunity. 17 city building violations across your properties in 18 months, including red tag orders for immediate hazards. Smoke detectors missing, exposed wiring. You were dangerous, yet lecture me about contribution. Victoria trembles. Those violations were corrected. We fixed everything. Judge Caprio's voice rises. After how many families lived in danger? After how many complaints were ignored? You chose profit over people, just like you chose your schedule over the safety of children in that crosswalk. Your previous license suspensions follow a pattern of disregard for the rules. Attorneys represent you. They do not absolve you of responsibility.
Today, you will learn that wealth does not make you immune. He picks up his gavel. The original fine for running a red light in a school zone is $500. Considering your speed, near misses, and lack of remorse, I am raising that to the maximum, $2,500. Additionally, your license is suspended for 6 months. During this time, you will complete 80 hours of community service at Hasbro Children's Hospital and a 40-hour in-person defensive driving course. For contempt of this court and disregard for its proceedings, an additional $1,000 fine applies. Your total today is $3,950, including court costs. Victoria protests. You can't suspend my license. I need to drive for work. Caprio's voice is unwavering. The same way millions get to work daily, public transport, rideshare, or walking. Your business will survive, your employees will manage, and perhaps the roads will be safer. Victoria pleads further. I'll appeal. This is excessive. Caprio leans forward, eyes locked. Justice is what happens when someone finally says no, when someone finally holds you accountable for treating people as obstacles instead of human beings. Beings. You walked in believing wealth made you special. You leave understanding the law sees no one as above it. Here, your bank account, your properties, your self-importance mean nothing. You are simply a citizen who endangered lives and must answer for your choices. The gavel falls, echoing through the courtroom. Victoria stands frozen, a mixture of shock, anger, and the first flicker of understanding. The bailiff instructs her to surrender her license, and she leaves with whatever dignity she can salvage. The gallery erupts in spontaneous applause. Judge Caprio nods to Mrs. Martinez, who wipes tears, and to Mr. Chin, who salutes with a trembling hand. The courtroom remains a place where character matters more than capital. Wealth cannot buy respect. Arrogance has consequences. The law protects everyone, especially those most vulnerable. Here, entitlement meets absolute justice.